So I'll upload the first video. I'm uploading that actually. I'll send you the link and let's continue now with the second part. Okay. So the last thing we've done is the table. Let me share the screen. The screen share now. Amazing. So the last thing we've done is the table. It's exactly as we wanted that. Amazingly. So now actually we have the checkboxes. Yeah, and then we need to do some paddings and margins. Let us start with these, okay? This is not a very easy thing to do. That's why, okay, I'll start building that, okay? Let's start with that. We'll make a div, I will give it an ID. Let's just check boxes, okay? Check boxes, amazing. And this one, we will have actually label. I'm not sure if you know what a label is. It's not easy to, but actually with our input, we have always labels, okay? So that means that this label is for this input. So we'll give it a class, okay? I'll tell you why classes, because we have 3 checkboxes and we don't want to give them 3 different IDs. We want to give them class because they are they have the same properties, and we use classes to give stuff, or to give divs, or to give any element or different elements same properties. So let's give it a class container, and then we have input. Okay, the type of the input is for sure checkbox. Okay, checkbox, and the name, actually we don't need the name, we don't need the ID for now. We need actually a checked, which means like it's checked. Let's see what's happening. You see, now we have checkbox. So this comes from this input. Then we will add something. Why we'll add something? And that's the difficult thing. I'm not sure like why they give you this as in the beginner level, because actually that's not an easy stuff, because now we should remove the defaults of this checkbox, because in default this checkbox looks like that in the HTML, and you can't change it that easily. You should first stop the defaults, okay, which is like actually an intermediate or an advanced thing to do. So that's why it's okay if you don't get the point 100%. Just try to get through that, okay? So we have span, okay? This span, I'll call it check mark. Okay, so it's actually the check mark, just the check mark. The span actually is like a div and like a paragraph. Maybe you've took that, maybe not. But the thing is, in span, the difference between a span and a div is in default, has in default the display as block. The stone I've told you about, block. This means block. This means like nothing can stand with a div inline. But span, it's in default. In default, it has a display inline. So in default, it comes inline with stuff on the screen when it's random. So now let me just write here one done. Amazing. Actually, it looks pretty good. Okay, so let's just copy that and make 3 copies of that. And here we'll give it the name 2. All right, 2 instead of 1, and here 3. Actually, we have now 1, 2, 3. And here comes the trick. So the first thing we want to do here is to just make it look better. So now they are in line. Let us put that above each other. But be careful, we should capture the right element. So actually, we don't want to get the one done alone. We want to get the one done with the checkbox, okay? So we come here, we see, want to get the whole label. This one, and this one, and this one should be actually under each other. So to do that, we can go take the checkboxes and do something with that, or we'll take the label and we'll give it display block. When we take the label, which is this one, let me do that. Take the container, which is label, okay? it's a class, so point. The class, so you call it in CSS with point. Container will give it display block. What does block means? It means actually that nothing can stand with this element on the same line. So if we come here now, we'll see, refresh. Sorry, let me refresh one more time. You will see that these are now vertical. Amazing. But let me put some padding here because it's like not very clean. So to put padding, let me take the ID of the section. So the ID needs hashtag. Don't forget the hashtags and the point if you are calling IDs and classes. And we'll give padding. Let us give 20 pixels as padding. And we'll see it like much better. Amazing. Now here's the point. That's amazing, but as I've seen, they needed black. So to do it black, I'll just now copy and paste the code because it's really not that easy for you. I'm sure like you'll not get it very easy. That's why I'm doing that. That's better for you, just to avoid like some difficulties or hardships. That's intermediate stuff. That's why I'm just copying that. But I will go through that quickly. And then it needs much less time. Actually, it's not very hard. And you can always find this code on internet if you search for it. Or you can write it if you need that. I can write it always for you. So what is here done is first, we're customizing the label container. Okay, we are just working on this one, the container, we are customizing that. As you see, the display block is already there, so we don't need this one anymore because it's repeated. We have the display block, we have the position relative. Position relative means like this is an anchor for something, but for what we don't know, for something. And these stuff are just like to, are you seeing? None. These are just like to, because the internet, you have a lot of browsers. You have Internet Explorer, you have Microsoft Edge, Firefox, Chrome, Safari. So each browser has its specific CSS elements. Not everything works with every browser. So that's why we should put these just to avoid some errors. And then we'll hide the browser's default checkbox. We are just giving default values here. As you see, opacity 0, so we are hiding the whole thing, the whole blue checkbox we had. And the next thing we are doing is create a custom checkbox. So we are typing the check mark, okay, giving it this color. And we're just, as you see, we are putting that at top 0, top left, and position absolute. And absolute for what? Absolute for the relative stuff, which is relative thing, which is this one. So we have the container and we have the checkbox, the check mark relative related to it, absolutely. So, and this one is just like for on mouse over, add a gray background color, okay? This is just like for hovering. So if you come here, you see, yeah, so that's it actually. And the check mark after, it's just like the after means here the div we've created after that one. So let's continue on the code. We're giving it display block, and then we are giving it these whole things. So actually, when you want to change something, it could be the color, for example. So you can always come here on the check mark, for example, and let me see. So you can always change this one black to red, for example, and then have red stuff. So this code, I wrote it very clean for you. Whenever you want to change a checkbox, just copy these boxes, okay? But you should know how to how to say it. Should know how to connect that to the HTML. If you connect it right, it will work always. You see, that's a powerful tool. I gave it to you. So you can always change the color as you like. That's not very easy, I know, but it's actually respectful, and they will respect you if they see this code. It's amazing work, actually. Let's just put that black as it was. Okay, so black, and continue. So now we have the checkboxes done. This is the only intermediate thing in the whole work we've done here. So let's continue. After the checkboxes, we still have the end of CSS assignment. And here's the trick. Here's the trick. Why writing the same thing 2 times? Here comes the benefit of classes one more time. As you see, we have already the CSS assignment. It has the same design as the end of CSS assignment. So we just come in the HTML. Okay, we grab the div header, we grab it, copy, and paste. Let me paste it in the right manner. Is here at the end. Instead of ID header, I'll give it ID footer. Instead of text wrapper, I'll keep it text wrapper. But I'll just change one thing. Instead of ID, I'll put class. Okay. Instead of black, I'll put. I'll keep it black. I'll just change the ID to the class, and here too, class. We don't need this one actually. We don't have it in the footer. So now we should change one more thing. We should come to the header too and put class instead of. No, it's not the right one. Header here. Change class, just to avoid writing that 2 times in the CSS. We can still do it, but that's much better for us. Good. So these 3, the text wrapper, the black, and the blue. Okay, let's look now at our screen first and see what's happening. Amazing. We have CSS assignment 2 times. For sure, we should change the text and put end of copy paste. Then we have now end of CSS assignment. So now let's go here, make a new section. That's just for the clean code, as I've told you. Let's call it footer section. So in the footer section, let us start working on the footer first. Footer. It's the footer. We'll give it a color, background color. This not aqua, but Marino. I don't know what's that, but this one, yeah. Then we'll give it padding 20. Okay. Sorry, padding 20 pixels. Actually, we don't need that, but let's continue. Let's put now display flex. So we'll flex the items and we'll align the item to the center. Align items to the center. Okay, there's something wrong with that. Okay, my fault. We need to take the text wrapper and do the whole thing on it. So let's take these 2 and add them to the text wrapper. But before doing that, let me just continue the work. And as I've said, we have the same stuff here. So in the header, as you see, we have the header, we have text wrapper, we have black and blue. So what I'll do, I'll just take these because they are common between 2 projects, okay, and put them at the top of the code here, okay, and then I'll do something here, which is header section, just to make that clean code. Header section. Amazing. So now, of course, we should change the ID to class. So black, then blue, then text wrapper. Amazing. Let's come here now and see. Okay, that's much better. And if we look at the header, okay, it's having so let us do the same stuff for the footer. Okay, put it in the general thing. Actually, we don't need this one for the footer because it's the same. I hope you're getting me. So actually, you see now, like we have blue and this one, okay? So we should have this one too. Amazing. See, we just applied the same CSS from this one to this one. Let me repeat that very quickly for you. So actually we had these. Actually we had these. I didn't do anything special. We just had these for the header. Okay. I changed these to classes because they are common. I've changed that accordingly in the HTML. So I gave the footer the same structure as header and gave it the same classes here. You see the same classes. Text wrapper, blue and black, the same thing. I came here, I gave the footer the same styles as the header, okay? And then I gave it the same text wrapper, black, blue styles. That's why we have the same style here. Actually, we still need something special for the footer. That's why I'll add a section for the footer, just for the footer, and down here. And just add this very small thing for the footer, just to make it exactly as we are seeing that in the picture. So to do that, we're just giving some padding. Oh, for padding, let's call the footer. I'm not able to write. Okay, footer, and then we give it padding 20 pixels. Amazing. Let's look at it. Amazing, amazing. As you see, the table, I remember now the table is on the left, we need it on the middle. And we need a sentence which is demo table for it. So let me do that very quickly. Okay, so we have H2 here. The H2 is, let me put just paragraph. This paragraph should have the ID title. Okay, in this paragraph, we should have a demo table. Amazing. Good. Now let's take the whole thing and put it the table section. Okay, let's come to the table section. Dun, dun, dun. That's it. And give the table section here what display flex. And then we align the items to the center. And let's see. Okay, there's one thing happening now. Yeah, you don't need it like that. Display flex, now they are flexed horizontally. We need the flex vertically. So we'll put flex direction, column, okay? Now we have it in the right manner, but instead of lines, you see these dots. That's just because we need to give it a fixed height here, this one. Let's give it width 100%. So it just takes the whole length. Amazing. I think we need a bit of margin here. So let's do that. And the columns should be a bit narrower. So if we come here to the columns, which the columns are TH. So let's take the TH. Are the main stuff, the headers, table headers. TH. So let's just give it the width of, I'm not sure, let's give it 30 pixels. I'm not sure if that's good. Yeah, that's good. That's what we need. You see, now it's very good like that. So let's just add some margin. See the margin here because it's touching the line. We don't need that. So we'll go to the table. We don't have a table stuff here, table thing. Don't add things just like which are just for one element here, because you are here calling table, th and td. They have common stuff here. So you need to call the table alone, table. When you call the table, just give the margin from the button. You give margin button. And then let's put 10 pixels, okay? Amazing, you see? Great. That's what we exactly need. Now we still need something, right? what do we need? Let me just put some margins. So we have this one back, then down. Okay. So I'll add first some padding to the footer. 20 is not a lot. Let's put 40. It's much better. For the assignment too, the same thing. It needs 40. So let me go to the header, actually to the header and footer, and put padding instead of 10. I'll put padding 40 here. 40, and actually we don't need the second one. Okay. Don't need this one because it's repeated now. I have it already up here. You see? You see, you have header for the header and the footer, because we have a comment for the header and the footer. We have the padding 40 pixels, which is amazing. Now you see, now it looks exactly how we want it. Maybe we need some margins for these lines. So to do that, let's give it to the section, so to the main section, which is the last section is the table section. This is the table section. So let me just change the order, because actually the table section, it's under the checkboxes section, so it should be the last one here. Okay, so yep, now I'll give it margin bottom 10 pixels. Amazing. That's the thing. Actually, let's give here some margin to margin bottom. So margin bottom for the images. Amazing. These are the images. Margin bottom and pixels. Amazing. Now we still have the ask thing. Do you remember the ask thing? Like this one, which is fixed. So to do that, let me give it a new div in the HTML. Okay. Here you should understand the positions: absolute position, fixed position, and relative position. So remember the relative, this means like it's the mother. It should be the mother because it's the main thing. So it's the place where the anchor is. So in our case, we need the anchor as the body. But let me first create the div for the ask me. Let me just give it an ID of ask me. Amazing. So this ID, it contains, as we see, an icon. So let me just do div and give it a class. I'll give it a class, or not class, we love IDs here. That's right. And you are right about that. When it's a special element, it should be ID. So I'll call it icon. It's much better to call it icon. And I think that's it. That's it. And I'll put here a paragraph. This paragraph should be ask me. Ask me. That's right. Yeah. Just put big letters. And here we have a span. In this span, we have I. You don't actually need the span, but actually it's not a good practice to put to just write stuff in the div. You should just put paragraph or span. That's much better. So let's look now at the screen. I'm not sure if you are seeing that in a good way. Okay, are you see? Ask me this one. Let me first give it a color. So let me see the screenshot to see. Okay, as you see here, green color. Like I think it's the green yellow color. So let me take this one. Ask me. Call it from here. Don't forget to be clean in the code. That helps you a lot, because as you see, we have 200 lines of code here. So be always clean. Ask me. Section. Okay. We'll give it first the background color, green yellow. Amazing. Let's take a look. Now, this one. Amazing. And then let's give it a width fit content. So width should be fit content. This means like the width shouldn't be like huge. You see, it just fits the content. Now we have the I above the ask me. We need them with each other. Okay. So to do that, make display flex. You see, this display flex helps a lot, really. And if you really didn't get the display flex, I can make a video just explaining the display flex because it's very important. Okay. Now we have asked me, let's add some padding just to be much better. Padding 2 pixels are enough, you know, that's a lot actually. And much better is a much better practice to put 0 to it. That means, let me explain that. So the 0 is like top and bottom. So on the top, on the bottom, and the bottom, keep it 0. And on the right and the left, 2 pixels. This means like that. So actually, you can write it padding. Can write it padding top 0, and then padding bottom 0, padding left 20, 2, and padding right 2. But that's just like a shortcut, you know. Padding 0, 0, 2. Amazing. Now let me edit it a little bit. As you see, the eye should be in a circle. So we already have this thing here, which is the div, the eye icon. Let's take the wrapper of the eye. So now we have the wrapper of it. I hope it's in ID. Yeah, ID. So let's just give it background black, background color black. So now we see everything is black. But then we need width. Okay. Let me put the width 20 pixels is amazing, I think. Oh, actually 15 is much better. Don't worry about that a lot. With time, you'll have this kind of feeling for the pixels. Width and height 15, and let me put border radius. Border radius is just like if you put border radius on a square and give it 50%, so it changes the square. It gives a just like round the whole thing. It makes radius for the border. So radius 50% for on a square. It will be so it will be a circle. You see, it's a circle. But we're not seeing the eye because the eye is black and the other one is black. So let's change the color. This means the eye, color of the eye, and put it the same color of the background, which is green yellow. Amazing. But then you see that the eye is not in the middle of this the circle. What to do? Flex. Okay, so let's come here and display flex. So now everything is flexed, you know, but it's still there. Nothing happened. Here's the trick. Now, after flexing, after making the display flex, we can align items when we flex them. So now we align it. I've done that multiple times in the video. I hope you got that point. Align items to this center. Oh. Actually, there's something here which is like the span. Actually, we have span. So let me just change this div to a paragraph. It's much better, and remove this span. You know, or actually put a span here. It's much better. Doesn't make any sense to have a div and then a span in it, and that's much better. And then we should call here these two things. Oh, let me see one more time what I've done here. Okay, okay. So these should be on the span. Now the span has okay, and then we should justify content. So it aligns to the center. So that means actually that it's vertically it's in the center, which is it is already, and we need it horizontally in the center too. So you need to justify content. So justify contents do the stuff on the horizontal line. On the vertical line, it's align items. So align items to the center and justify items where, let me tell you, like let us try flex end. We'll see it on the other end, as you see here. And we need it in the center. We'll just write center here. And we have it as we want. Now, as you see, the circle isn't that good because it's meeting the upper line of the ASCII. So actually, we need to flex the ASCII to flex. As you see, flex is very important. After flexing that, we will add a line because as you see, vertically, this one should be a bit down. So it's vertical. That's why we put align and we align items to the center. Then it's very well centered, as you see. Amazing. And then we can put gap, which puts a gap between the elements or the items between ask me and the I. Okay. Put some gaps between ask me and the and actually this is the ask me. So it puts some these are the two elements which are like here. We are just putting some gaps between them. Okay, we put gap. Let us put the gap 2 pixels. Okay, amazing. You see, it's 2 pixels here between the two. So now let's take this whole thing, okay, and give it absolute value. The whole thing, which is ask me here. Okay, so we'll give it position absolute, but it will be absolute now. So you know, but that means everywhere. That means everywhere. But let's see relatively to what, because when you put position absolute or position fixed, you should put somewhere else position relative. Okay, so if we look here, still anyway the same, but let me give it top 0 or like bottom 0 because we need the bottom 0 and we need right 0. It's much better to give it actually 10 pixels on bottom and right. Let us see. You see, it's here, but actually that's not the right thing we need. Why? Let me add one section in the one random section. Let me add one random section. Let me just take. Let me just take the to show you that you should understand that. Very quickly, we need the images, random text. Let me copy the random text down here. I'll copy that 3 times. If we look here, we have 3 things. You see, the ask me, it's relatively to this one because it's the parent. That's why you should put exactly that this one should be relative to the whole body. So it's relative to the whole body. So when you scroll, it keeps relatively to the whole body. To do that, you go to the body up here, you give it position relative. Now it's relative to the whole thing. As you see, it's relative, but it's absolute. And here's the point: you need it always following the screen. So to do that, you write fix instead of absolute. You know. So now let's go there to the section we need and put. Where is that? Here, instead of absolute, we put fixed. Now, as you see, as we scroll, it's fixed. Tack. Let me see. It should be a bit bigger. Let me make it a bit bigger, like maybe the font. Okay, the font maybe. Not sure. Let me add it here. Font size maybe 22 pixels. That's much better, right? And that's why let's put the 20 instead of in here for the eye. I think it's pretty good, right? Okay, it still need border. You see, it has some border here. Let me add some border. So you are very happy with the results. To add some borders, we go here. We write border. We write how thick the border should be, and then we write the type of the border, which is solid, dotted, or anything splitted. Let's write solid, so it's a line, and then we write the color, and which is black in this case. Okay, you see, we have the thing we want to have, and now we are done. I'll just remove these now. Let me remove that. It's very easy. Tuck. One more time. I think that's it. Amazing. Now you have the whole thing. Let me know if you still need any edit. I'll upload the whole thing for you. Okay. And let me show you something. Just to be sure on that. Okay. So now this is the file. It's called Fiverr CSS2. What I'll do, I'll pop what I've done. I copy. What I'll do is I'll compress it. So you'll get this compressed thing. When you get this compressed thing, just click on it and you'll have the project. Open the project and start from there, seeing stuff. Forget your own copy. Start from here because you can't start your own copy. Start from here. It's much better. Read this one, understand this one, and here is the project. I send it out to you. Here is the project, and I'll send you the link for the video. Thank you, and have a nice night. Feel free to ask me anything if you need. Bye bye.